Are you an ostomate who is experiencing skin breakdown or irritation? I have spent some time doing a little bit of my own research and listening to others' experiences through online support groups or my in-person support group, people dealing with skin issues. Okay, so as an ostomate, you could experience skin breakdown and irritation. But don't get alarmed, because there are ways that you can combat this. First of all, I'm going to show you, this is what I wear. So this is the appliance. The sticky part comes undone, and this side of it is on your body. There is further this wafer that sits here and helps that stick to your body. So this so much isn't the problem as this area becomes more of the problem, at least for me. Now, I don't deal a lot with skin breakdown. However, I will find that at times this area can become red and inflamed. And my thought process behind it is this. For one, for me, I have had my ostomy since like 2015 or so, give or take. This area has been literally touching my body for all those years, almost 10 years. It's became acclimated to that area of my skin being covered up. So when you expose it to air, because you change this every 3 to 5 days, whatever you can make, people can get longer, but for me, 3 to 5. So when you take this off, you've exposed the skin that has been covered for a very long time. So that's number one. That is how it works. And then the bag, just so for people who don't know or are new, sits here. And this is where you collect your waste. So this is touching your body, and this is where you collect your waste. When this bag fills up, you simply take it off, dispose of it, and put a new one on. Okay, so getting into skincare tips. When you are changing your appliance, it's really important, and this is in what I found, is not, it's almost like less is more in this area. I get in the shower, I'm under warm water, it's easier to loosen that up because it will be quite stuck to you. I mean, that's the goal, is to make sure that that bag and that appliance stays attached to your skin, because that's how you avoid leaks and blowouts. So cleaning should be very mild. You are going to find that sometimes this wafer will get stuck to your skin, and you could scrub, but I do not advise it. I think scrubbing is where you are going to see more of a reaction. In fact, there are times where there's little pieces, and sometimes I'll try to pick it off a little bit, but I don't overdo it. If this stuff gets stuck to my skin, as long as it's doesn't have feces on it, then I leave it and I just put a new one over it. You do not want to overdo it, because that skin is so fragile from being unexposed for so long. So the minute I feel that I'm over scrubbing, I stop, because that's when I start to see my skin break down. I've seen redness, a little bit of blood, or just severe irritation and itchiness. So leave it as much as possible. The same with using soaps. If you are going to use soaps, use a mild soap like Ivory. What I don't use is the liquid soaps. I've never used liquid soaps even close to the area. I know some of those can cause a lot of irritation. A lot of those are over-scented, and you really want to be careful with that, because that could cause more problems. So stick to a mild bar soap. You want to make sure you're always using warm water. When you are done doing that and you get out of the shower, you do not want to scrub that area dry. Just pat it dry softly, let it air dry, whatever you have to do, but just err again on the side of caution. Don't overdo it. Less is more. When everything's dry, then you put the appliance on. Wait till everything is dry. The only way you're going to get these these to stick to your body is by making sure the area is fully dry. If you are having issues with adherence or irritation, I have heard Head and Shoulders shampoo. I've heard this before, but more recently when I did a Facebook Live video, it was mentioned a few times. So I'm not sure what the chemical is that's in it that helps, but it is allegedly, it's a dandruff shampoo, so I don't understand, but I'm not going to question it. I have heard it, like I said, from several times and from several ostomates. So I believe that it's going to be very true, even though I don't use it myself. I have also heard that barrier creams, you can buy these specifically through, Hollister, Coloplast, Convatec, whoever your main carrier is that carries your ostomy supplies. You may want to try a few. You can call and ask these places for samples. I encourage you to do that before you order or before even asking your medical supply to do that. Just go ahead and make the call yourself. Try them. There's no point in wasting them or making your medical insurance pay for them if you aren't going to use them. Try different things because you don't know what's going to work for you. But only use if you really need them. I don't need them. I've never used a barrier cream. I don't need them. So it's just, I don't even bother with trying to use them because, again, it's the less is more motto. I've also heard for the irritation that calmoseptine, I might be saying it wrong. It's used for diaper rash, it's used for burns, cuts, scrapes, etc. Wounds. I've heard that although it's not made just for ostomies, it is a good product, and I've heard this before from through many ostomates. So it's just like the Head and Shoulders. If there are things, and the reason I'm emphasizing that I've heard these from other people is because they're not ostomy products. But if I know that other ostomates are using them, then I will go ahead and tell you that I believe that that's true, because you have to be careful with it's an open wound. You have this open part of your body that's essentially sticking out of your body, and you have to be very careful for what goes on or near that area, because your body's absorbing that like in an instant. So I want you to be very careful with what you use, but don't be scared, and take my word for it. If I've heard it, it's because it's legitimately been used by other people. Doesn't mean it will work for you, but it is an option. Calmoseptine, Ivory Soap, and Head and Shoulders, few examples of those. The other thing is making sure your ostomy appliance is properly fitted for you. You will find, I have not in the last several years, but in the beginning, especially of having an ostomy, you will find that your stoma is going to change sizes. And you will want to see an ostomy nurse about getting resized so that you have the correct appliance for you. If you are finding you are having leaks will lead to skin irritation. You want to avoid that as much as possible. And furthermore, you don't want to have a blowout. When your appliance is not the right size for your stoma, you're gonna have issues. So if you are having issues, you need to see a stoma nurse and get that taken care of. You also want to make sure you're changing regularly. Now, this is a very sensitive subject. It does make me really sad that there are many people in this world who either don't have enough supplies because their insurance doesn't cover them, or they don't have insurance, so they have to pay or find their own. And so they will take and try to extend out the length of time that the appliance stays on them. If you are somebody who is having skin irritation and not changing these often enough, you need to. But there are supply closets. If you can look at the United Ostomy Association, ostomy.org. There is information on that site about supply closets. You can also look on Facebook group sites for ostomy supplies and exchange. If you aren't experiencing skin issues, you can get away with it for a little while. But if you are somebody who experiences skin issues, You want to start changing that more often. And if you're having trouble financially, please look into these closets, supply closets. Sometimes you just have to pay for shipping and people are willing to give them away. Don't always pay money for them. You may be able to find what you need. You can also call and ask some of these, not just the big name ostomy supply companies, but some of the other ones, call and ask for samples. They may send you a few, and hopefully it's things that you can interchange a little bit. Okay, so the last thing is the undergarments you're wearing and the clothing you're wearing are very imperative too. I have found, and I don't know if this is why I don't have as much skin issues as the next person, but the undergarments I make from my business, Ostomy Innovations, the undergarments that I make are made from moisture wicking fabric, specifically bamboo. And that is, to me, is very important, because when there are times that I've had to go without those or wear something else, and there are times that I've experimented with a lot of different clothing because of me starting an ostomy underwear business, and I will honestly say I can see a huge difference in just from wearing moisture wicking undergarments than not. And I do all sorts of activities. So we're gonna go over this really quickly again. When cleaning and changing your appliance, making sure you're using warm water, don't over scrub, less is more. Getting that appliance on sooner than later after you do pat your area dry, making sure it's totally dry, getting this on sooner than later. You don't want to keep it exposed for too long because it's sensitive. If you are having trouble with adhesion, try barrier creams, Head and Shoulders shampoo. Make sure you're cleaning with non-abrasive, mild soaps like Ivory. You want to, or calmeseptine, or any other barrier creams if you're having adhesion problems, okay? Making sure you change regularly, making sure that you have a proper fitting appliance. See your ostomy nurse if you can't. And try moisture wicking undergarments. All right, so with that being said, those are some of the tips that I have. And if you have more tips, please include them below in the comment section. Also, just know that if you are having skin irritation and breakdown and you're not able to remedy it by yourself and it's causing severe issues in your life, you need to get help sooner than later. Skin irritation is going to be red, puffy, maybe a little blood. But if you start to see something beyond that, green, pus, clear signs of infection, you need help. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. So thank you for being here, and I'll catch you on the next one.